Mr. Sandeep Chachra, human rights defender and also an expert in these international affairs, is joining us for his reaction on what Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu has responded to, and of course the ICJ calling out Israel on a number of these humanitarian transgressions. Mr. Chachra, I appreciate you joining us and speaking to NewsX. What do you make of Mr. Netanyahu's speech? Are the walls closing in on the kind of narrative that has been used by Israel to defend all these killings? Or do you think that this is something that Israel will continue to put out in front of the international community, regardless of what any international court will have to say?
Thank you for having me. And what I want to first of all say, yes, indeed, the walls are closing in. Israel is getting more and more isolated. You see, the South African case here was supported by about 88 countries, mostly from the global South, or let me say exclusively from the global South. Many have not openly come out, but I know there's a lot more support. There have been people's protests. There have been many, many voices. Now, in as much as the International Court of Justice goes, this is the most authoritative and respected of the international courts. And the judgment yesterday is a provisional measure. The judgment, as we know, of ICJ takes years. The case which Gambia had put on Myanmar for genocide of Rohingyas, there were provisional measures announced, but the case is still ongoing. But that, even if it is so, in the ruling yesterday, the court has been very clear. Firstly, it considers that the measures that Israel has taken, or the actions that Israel have taken, could be plausibly genocidal. So the plausibility of genocide is something that the court has said. Remember, its judgment is majority, 15-2, or in some cases, in some points, 16-1, with only, you can see where the direction is going. Number two, it says that Palestinians are at a grave risk. And the ICJ judgment, which I was listening in yesterday, goes at length to identify what those risks have been and what the Israeli leaders have said. So in short, let me put it that it is pretty clear, though the final ruling may take years, though the ICJ's judgment are binding, there's no appeal. And even if it is so, it doesn't have an implementation mechanism. So Israel may choose not to listen to them and still go on with tacit support from some others. But Israel is getting more and more isolated from the judgment yesterday. The momentum is building up. It is pretty clear that there will be a lot more pressure on Israel, on its tacit supporters, the armed supporters, the countries which have been supplying arms to Israel, and it will get diplomatically a bit more isolated. So that's how I will react to what the Prime Minister of Israel was just speaking, with reference to how they view. You see, the court has also mentioned that distinction hasn't been made between combatants and non-combatants. So I heard the Israeli Prime Minister speak to Hamas, but there's no been any distinction. 26,000 or therearound people have lost lives. Most of them, majority of them, are women and children, and there has been, almost I can say the entire country there's nowhere safe, and it's the UN Secretary General which is saying that nowhere is safe in Gaza. So that's how I see things going, Viniji.